We're sorry.
We're
We're
sorry.
sorry.
We're sorry, guys.
We're so sorry.
Yeah, pet me, pet me.
We're so incredibly sorry.
Our fort.
Yeah, our fort.
That's
We're
my bad.
sorry. We're sorry.
We got carried away. We really got carried away.
So deeply sorry.
Sorry, guys.
So sorry.
Yes.
Welcome back,
Facts.
everybody. We're so sorry. We were under the impression that these cards were cool. They were hard to pull. But apparently, we're all buying bulk. Who knew? Who
um,
knew everything in this set was bulk? Oh, you want an Umbreon? How about you just go buy a box and pull it? You know? I mean,
I'm really, I'm really sorry. I got carried away. The marketing got me. The marketing got me, Jake Smith. I really thought this was the next Moonbreon, but come to
mhm,
find out, you can get three every pack,
yeah, yeah.
and they're mappable.
Mm,
So I just
mhm.
like to say to the community, we're sorry. If
We're
we made
sorry.
you spend a lot of money, that's our fault. But to
That's
be
our
fair,
bad.
we also spent a lot of money and we're probably gonna get cooked. So it could be a bonding experience. We could all lose thousands of dollars together. Um,
Yeah,
and we just lost.
when you look on the bright side, when you're losing thousands of dollars with the homies, are you really losing $1,000 or are you making memories that'll last a lifetime? That's I think that's all what we have to think about right now is the memories of how amazing these times are where we full sent evolutions and we all got cooked. It's a beautiful moment, honestly, in history.
Can we check the prices? What they're currently selling for and compared to what we bought them for?
Yeah, sure. Let's check out the prices, dude. I mean, we can it's maybe this is just like a safe space we can all cry together stream type vibe, you know. Terastal Festival SAR. SAR, a rarity that was previously hard to pull, but is now bulk. We're very sorry. Um, okay, SB52. You know, we might be okay.
Are we good, bro? I only paid 152 for my SP.
I mean, Sylvia's 85. Some of these prices are whack. I mean, someone paid 20 for a Dragapult. We might be good. Are we good? Do people just buy shiny things and they don't think about prices like we do? They don't overthink?
Never punished it.
Huh. Maybe we're not sorry? Are we all going to be fine?
No, we're not. Let's go back to the bit. We're
Okay,
sorry.
we're sorry.
Guys,
That was our fault.
I got carried away. Let me tell you my story, Jake Smith, real quick.
Tell us
I
the story.
I was living. I had already found a new hobby, chess. I had already found new friends, not you,
Mm-hmm.
and I was living.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Sounds great.
you guys brought me back. Oh, Ernie, you're literally gay and handicapped if you don't flip these EVs. I'm like, I'm living. I'm fine. No, dude, don't be stupid. Come through, flip these EVs. I promise. And the man who gave me that advice is now ghosting from the hobby after having paid 167 for an SP.
Mm.
So I'm just trying to figure out, why did you guys bring me back to get cooked? The EVs are dropping at 20% daily. If you got it for 30,
Mm-hmm.
then that's 24, then that's 20, then that's 16, dude. Daily.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting cooked. I paid 80 for a Sylveon, and that shit's like at 45. I'm gonna have
No,
to
it's
black label my entire play to break even.
mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm worried. I'm worried, dude.
And whenever you send them to Beckett to Black Label to get you out of financial ruin, you might not ever see your cards again because they might not be a company here soon. So we're really, really cooked. Maybe we should have just bought sealed, dude.
You know what got me hot too, bro? I hop on voice yesterday after everybody's been wailing out on Evolutions,
Mm-hmm.
and guess who sent voice? Squeaks Game World.
Mm-hmm.
I go, Squeaks, I promise I got 10 umbies. I'm gonna win. And Squeaks goes, it's overprinted. The value will drop 20% daily, and I'm not touching it with a 10-foot pole.
Mm.
Bro, I almost closed the Discord down.
Shut her down.
I was hovering over delete Discord horde. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
Squeaks, like, why you didn't tell me 15 hours ago before I dropped all this money at 24% credit card on an asset that's dropping 20% daily? I'm gonna get cooked. And I gotta tap into voice and I gotta come home to this. Squeaks is like, yeah, anybody with a brain would have known. I'm just always wrong, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I got the dummies on this side telling me anybody with a brain would buy. And I got the geniuses on this side telling me anybody with a brain would not buy. And does it matter at the end of the day? I'm gonna win. It's EVs in plastic. What are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
So
It's
I'm sorry.
I think, I mean, you brought it up this morning, but there's two markets. There's the markets that are overthinkers and will spend an hour trying to decide, is 180 a good buy for Umbi, and then there's the ones that'll be like, oh, that's the first pristine Umbi. Sure, I'll drop 500. Um, but
Shit.
yeah, I'm not worried. Um, I just bought heavy into Umbies and other shit, and I think I'll be fine. But if I get ruined, add it to the list. Add it to that fat loss list over all the years.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. We'll see. It's kind of sad that that the boxes are mappable. I don't think that's a good look, but I guess it's just. I mean, when they're printing that much product, you need to have some sort of rhyme or reason. You can't just be giving dude.
Yeah, it's I don't know. They maybe
All
just
right, I'm
didn't
back.
think
Can you hear
that
me?
through or something. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I mean, they could just like not care at this point too. Like, you shouldn't be buying loose Japanese packs anyways, and I feel like most people know that, but maybe not uh, across the board. But I don't think it'll really hurt anything because people are just opening boxes. Boxes are cheap enough to rip an entire box, so like you can get them for $52 from Retro. Like, that's not crazy. It doesn't affect you if you're ripping a whole box. It just affects you if you're degenning into whatnot and buying 5 packs at a time, or if there's a scummy whatnot
Guilty.
seller who maps the box and sees you pull an A spec here or SAR or something there. He knows where the next one is, if there is one, and he just puts in a light pack. But I don't know. I don't think many people are going to be hurt
Affected.
by that, I guess. Yeah. Like, is that going to stop Retro from selling boxes? I don't think so at all.
Yeah, I'm not sure anything could stop Retro from selling boxes,
Yeah.
except maybe Iron Man.
Retro did say Squeaks was in his DMs asking for 100 boxes, so
Oh hell nah. You see,
interesting.
chat? You see what we were talking about, dude? You can't pillars be lying. This is a
Mm-hmm.
clear proof of pillars be lying. Squeaks was in voice yesterday talking about, dude, I promise it's a bad investment. And then while he was telling me that Caparoni, he was messaging retrospects for the lowest price on sealed product by a reputable source. God promise.
So the pillars steady be lying to us, I
Bro,
guess.
the pillars is literally you don't become a pillar until you lie to people's faces like this. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's when you become a pillar. Let me name them out. Cast Collectibles, James CNG, Dan, Retro, all the squeaks,
Hmm.
habitual cappers every day of my life, dude. I promise.
It's too bad. It's too bad. Oh, welcome in the chat. Jackson called us idiots. So mods, can we give him an upgrade? Make him a moderator. Thank you.
How do I
Yeah, I
buy
think
from Retro? Fresh Tats? Just hit him up. Hello, I have money for you.
he's
But
probably in your DM right now. You already
yeah,
searched up your Instagram.
he already searched up your credit score to see like how many millions of boxes he could hit you over the head with. No, but um, oh, Basic Trainer has a question. Hmm.
He was vending this weekend and his modern sat and his vintage sold. What gives? I was told not to think. Hmm. Well, these days, I think you did the right thing and you didn't think and you just brought everything and one of them sold and one of them didn't. And you don't have to think any further because the opposite thing will probably happen at the next show. Or maybe your vintage was really well priced and your modern was for
Mm.
eBay prices and
Mm-hmm.
people are just broke and can't afford those. I mean, modern's
Yeah.
expensive, dude. Like, I don't know if you saw ZNG's post this morning, but a lot of the alt arts that were like 300, like 2 weeks ago, are up to like 400 to 500. Like the Lugia, Espeon, all that stuff in English for Fusion Strike, Silver Tempest.
I mean, but to be fair, Basic is kind of a broke boy, so small sample size. He probably sold a total of like 6 PSA 9, and he's like, my vintage sold. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
did your vintage sell or did you bring 12 slabs because you're broke? That's my question. You know.
All good points.
Like, yeah,
Um,
my vintage sold. I have 3 slabs on my eBay. Wow, vintage is booming. Sorry, that's I'm just reading out of my journal. That's my fault.
thank you. We're sorry.
Anyway, guys, we're really sorry. It just goes to show you. But I mean, I will say this: we weren't lying because we also got cooked with you. So we're technically not pillars yet because the pillars would have said one thing and done another. Exhibit A, Squeaks Game World.
Mm-hmm.
We we did what we were saying y'all should do. So
All facts.
do we get some points or something?
Not credit points, that's for sure.
But Jake, you did say that sealed would go up, so you are still right, I guess. Sealed is sealed going up? Retro said sealed is going up, right?
Yeah, it's going up. Let's see what the booster boxes are at on eBay. How big of a discount is Retro giving? Oh, looks like they're 60 to 68 on eBay. So yeah, go buy from Retro while you still can. Let's just FOMO people into more things. Guys, right now, for one low price of $52 for 20 boxes, you can get nearly $12 off the market price of eBay per
Yeah,
box.
use our coupon, our discount coupon, brain off at checkout.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then for 10% and type in nostalgianomics for 20%. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and you're good.
If you order boxes today using Brain Off coupon, Retro will give you a whole 50 cents off a box. You heard it here.
That's insane.
That's
That's
over
insane.
$200 in savings
Yeah,
after off eBay price.
yeah.
Come on. What are we
Come on.
doing?
But Jake Smith, I feel like I do feel like I was lied to. I was told that there was a boom. I was told that there's nothing better I need to do than look at cards.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember who told me those things? Do you
Nope.
recall?
Nope.
Hmm.
Don't know who that was. No idea who that was. But also, I mean, the boom is modern English. So we went in and bought a bunch of Japanese. So
Hmm.
maybe maybe we're the dummies.
Yeah, it doesn't make any real sense to do that. Um, yeah, it's just there's so many different, you know, opinions and advices. It's hard to know. Like, first of all, you got James telling me don't think. Then you got Dan
Mhm.
telling me, what does Dan tell me? Dan tell me we're booming. And then we got retro booming. And I don't know. I guess I don't know who to listen to. So that's why I'm listening to my heart. And my heart told me Black Cat Moon 200 good price.
Mhm.
And that's all you could do, guys. As a man and as a business, you gotta ultimately live and die by the sword. You know what I mean? You have to die on your own decisions. Because if I keep listening to everybody, I'm gonna end up not doing anything.
Mhm. You got to take that chance. What makes you feel good?
It's also
And
fun to gamble. It's fun. Like I'm excited to, to see what my cards will grade and put them on the market. Like, I don't know.
yeah, and then there's just I don't know. There's two different markets too. Like you can say all you will, but we still don't know what the PSA 10 price is, what the graded demand for these cards will be. We're like too early. So like this is just like purely the raw market sorting itself out, and there's certain cards holding really well, there's certain cards falling drastically. Um and all you can do is wait till stuff gets graded and see what the premiums are. And I don't know, I'm a believer that prices will go up or down based on graded demand. So because if comes out at like 500 in a PSA 10 and it's 150 raw, that's just going to add more demand from flippers and graders to buy more umbies on top of all the collectors that are buying now and all the flippers that are buying now. So
I mean,
um,
there was no way the collectors were snapping at 1 second.
right,
Yeah,
yeah,
a
that
collector's
was.
gonna wait, hey, let me see.
Well, you could. I mean, there's probably some collectors mixed in there, but yeah, it's
Hmm.
definitely a lot of flippers bullish at that price. And I mean, that's why Umbies held up better than any of them, and the Master Ball Umbi too, and some other cards like popular Master Balls. And I mean, the Sylveon staying at 80ish on eBay shows you something. It didn't crash down to 30 through 50 like all the other ones did. So there's definitely pretty crazy demand to keep some of these cards up with how much this set's being ripped. So am I worried? No. Am I sorry? Yes.
Yeah, we're sorry. I think um we can keep talking about the two markets because I think there's like a lot there. But I do want to talk a little bit about risk because I've been thinking a lot about um like my approach to flipping.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, Kai and Squeaks and like risk, like I feel like I take a lot more risk even though I have a lot less money. So that doesn't make sense, right? You would think. But I think I think most people are like that. I think people that have like 5K for a play are actually doing way riskier things than people that have 50K for a play, right? Because also like there's less to lose also, right? Like if I'm a pillar and I want to drop 50K on Terastal Festival, how would I do it? Because I'm not sure doing what we did is necessarily smart. It's very risky. What if you drop 50K and everything halves and you lost 25 bands?
Well,
But
yeah.
for
I mean, the least risky thing is doing what Squeaks and others are doing is just buying a whole bunch of boxes because this set's going to be ripped more than any other set, I think, at least the past year or so in Japanese. Like 151 in Japanese was ripped like crazy, but that was more than a year ago. So, like in a year, I don't think there's been a Japanese set that will be ripped at the rate this one is. Like you saw it on Whatnot and TikTok, like people were selling boxes for over $100 and they were sitting at like 55 or 60 on eBay at the time. So people are like incredibly excited to buy into these boxes. So much so that live streamers are selling them for double market
What a
on auction. Like they're
That's true.
auctioning boxes. Like I saw Weedle auctioning boxes for like 90
Exactly.
when on
And
his store and everyone else's store they were like 50 to 55. Like it's crazy.
I think flippers think more in terms of margin, but I think businesses think more in terms of risk, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So like it's just an approach thing. Like when Squeaks saw the evolutions, he saw high variance, he saw volatility, he saw like short-term unpredictability.
Mm-hmm.
When he saw the sealed product, you know, he probably saw easy dub. Smaller margin, but guaranteed. Well, not guaranteed. Okay, we're doing it again. We're sorry. But smaller margin on a larger scale is still outperforming our 5K or 10K with high volatility. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? And I remember when Retro got to that point as well. Like Retro was flipping just like us, like singles and shit. And then he got rich, respectfully. And he's like, dude, I can't be putting this much money on some shit that's gonna go up and down like crazy. So he's like, let me think in terms of risk. And I think maybe that's what we need to do to go to the next level, dude. Other than stop ripping modern and just generally being not smart. Um, I think we need to like think more in terms of risk and think more like that instead of, oh, what's the biggest margin? Because I think all of us that were going crazy on Umbreons were looking for that $1,000 payday. And I guess I'm just been reflecting on that. Maybe that's just the wrong approach.
Yeah, I mean it's I mean grading cards or buying cards at release and grading them is always going to be like the most risky play. It gets a little less risky when you're having the amount of buyer demand that we're currently seeing in the market, which is why me and others and you and everyone else went like pretty hard into cards, because the risk seems low right now for what we're used to doing. Um, because of the demand. And right now we're just kind of fighting with that supply. But yeah, I mean, if you have 50K to drop on every single set, like literally the safest, best thing to do, because you're that liquid and you have the money in the bank, like he's Squeeze is just gonna buy and sit on these. Like he's basically dollar cost averaging into these boxes. Like we'll get them for 100 now. It probably can't be much lower than 52 a box, when bought in bulk. I don't know what MSRP is, but I'm sure it's like, that in that 25 to 40 range. Maybe Retro can tell us what distro over there gets them for, but um, yeah, it's you bet like if you have 50K per set, I mean the easiest thing if it's a popular set is just to buy the boxes and supply the streamers and yawn all day.
And by the way, these are made up numbers. Like I actually don't know how much Squeaks dropped, but it could be 50, it could be 100, it could be 5. I have no idea. But I'm talking more about the approach, like thinking in terms of guaranteed 15% on 50 bands. It's still really nice, especially when it's liquid. Like you said, like these boxes are gonna get ripped. It's not like, oh, yawn, I'm sitting on EV EV product. Like that's not gonna happen. I guess
Yeah.
it could happen if everyone has it. Like, could you see a world where literally everybody has it and like they actually lose money? Like Retro and Squeaks actually lose money? Like, I I guess it could happen. I guess that's up to Pokemon or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems pretty low chances right now. And then Retro has a good point in chat. Remember when we had a year where Japanese didn't have a single chase card above 65 raw, and now we're all worried about a $200 Umbreon? Like, that's so true.
Yeah,
Like, the
yeah.
fact that
Clap it
you
up,
can,
clap it up.
like, Umbreon is in a rarity that can be pulled every single box, and it's at 200. Like, that's a good sign. the fact that there's enough demand in Japanese right now to make like the one of the less rare chase cards, but it's like highly demanded because it's the next Moonbryon, for that to be $200 when it's so quote unquote way easier to pull than we ever thought is like pretty wild. So I mean, and it's like I feel like I'm not even like I would have been pretty hurt if I was buying all the different evolutions on day one, but the fact I was buying like all the evolutions were what, like 70 to $100 or something at release, and now they're half that. Whereas like Moonbryon was like 200 to 250 at release, and it's gone down maybe 10-20%. Like
The
just
cheapest I
turning
got
your
was
brain off and buying the Umbreon would have actually lost you the least amount of money too, buying on release day.
true, right? Smith, maybe catch up with the chat, because I'm getting ready to leave the house. So I need like a minute here.
Yeah.
But maybe read some of these guys' comments. Guys, ask us something. We here. We're gonna go on for at least another like hour.
BBS, how much debt do I need to have? Crippling debt. What is crippling debt? I feel like crippling is like, oh, you're so cooked that you're gonna have to get a job and really start paying off your more than your monthly. Jackson says, should I exit the hobby? Now's a good time, dude. Boom's over. At least I think the boom is over. Retro, is the boom over? Can you let us know? Thanks. Jackson says TikTok coupons are back. Ooh, might have to check that out. Y'all don't know, TikTok has some great deals. If you're looking to buy sealed product, like dudes will just have, there's people with distribution and shit on there for Japanese and English. And I mean, as an example, I know Jackson and me and a bunch of others were buying the Mew UPC in English for like $80 or something after coupons, like back when it was still like $100 or something, a little over 100. So it's pretty nice. TikTok coupons. I'm dusted. I bought some One Piece recently with some TikTok coupons where it's like $20 under MSRP. Retro said, when you guys sell for 350 to 450 on every Umbreon here in a month, I'll be here in chat eating Satsumas. Dude, I want to be eating with you too. But that, I don't know. That's why I'm like, everyone's like been freaking out, Retro, and like, I don't know. I'm of the mind where it's just like, it's just another thing to freak out about. People want to freak out about everything that happened, whether it was good or bad. And the fact that this gives some sort of talking point of any kind towards this set that's negative. Oh, everything's dropping. Oh, we're all going to be cooked. Like, that just shows you what people click on and what they listen to and what they like to hear. Because all the dudes that didn't buy are just like so happy right now. Like, oh, I was a genius for not buying at release. And then everyone who did buy at release is like, oh shit, I'm cooked. I need to hear that I'm cooked. I made a bad play. It's all going to zero. When in reality, it's two different markets, and you're probably going to pristine or black label or PSA 10 a lot of these, and you're going to be absolutely fine. So I think everyone's going to be fine. The problem is the cards look too good. It doesn't even matter about rarity.
Exactly.
Like that's all we've ever learned in this hobby. Like if you're new, rarity doesn't fucking matter at all.
No,
Like at all. And
clip that. Somebody clip that.
it even like shows like people with the original Moonbryon, like versus this Moonbryon, they're like, oh, it's gonna be easy to pull in English. Evolving Skies was not easy to pull. Like it's so hard to pull the Moonbryon. It's so rare. Meanwhile, there's 20,000 PSA 10s, and like people still have this in their mind that, oh, that's a really rare card. Like it's worth 1,600 to 2K because it's so rare. In reality, they're buying something for 1,500 that literally anyone else can go out and buy for 1,500. Anyone else can go out. You can even still rip it from Evolving Skies if you're super degen. So it's I think we're all gonna be fine. Just find your
Bro,
nearest
that
brick
actually
wall and put in some reps.
that stuff that actually blew me. Like, how is Charizard from 151 pop 10,000 and still $600? Like,
That's
yo, that's
cheap.
a lot. That's a lot though. 10,000. I guess that just shows you the modern demand is like built different. Like, there's there's
Well, just
easily
like
50, 60,000 people.
yeah, but it's just like funny to me that people in that space of like, oh, I'm gonna spend 1,500. I don't even know what it's at right now. It's probably more than 1,500 for a Moonbreon 10. And people are like, oh, I'm gonna spend over $1,000 on a card that I'm telling myself is rare. I think is rare because it's hard to pull. It's rare, rare, rare. When in reality, if you look at the numbers, it's one of the least rare cards in a PSA 10 in the modern era. Like it's been graded so much. So it's like it just
Mhm.
doesn't matter how much things are graded. Like as long as the demand is there, as long as like the total human consciousness is behind it positively, like it's gonna be fine.
Copy, copy, copy.
Welcome ZNG.
1 sec.
He just said you can't wait to sell your Black Label Umbreon for 5K in a couple months. Yep, 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 yep.
I'm not subbing to Beckett anymore. As a great lyricist said, Becky piece of shit. Jake Smith.
Mm-hmm. It's the truth. I've been hoping to get a electric breaker Pikachu and a Black Label to send to ZNG, but I sent out a higher tier and it's been at Beckett for like a month and a half now, or maybe over a month just now. So that's cool. Becky, piece of shit. Pokey Steve said, sup, my second time watching. Thanks for watching, dude. Hopefully you're learning how not to play the market through watching us. Uh,
Well, I mean, this is a good time to shout out the only man that makes me money, James CNG. I just sent you a box. I just want to say I'm really sorry about the contents of the box. Uh, like it's not Kai level dusted, but yikes, yeah, like your hourly handling these cards is gonna be low. And I just want to say, um, but I needed
we're
it, and
really
I hope you
sorry.
understand this. I needed it out of my house. I just needed it out of my house, and I think that should be actually the slogan for CNG Emporium.
Mm-hmm.
Get it out of your house. You know,
Hi.
I
Do
just don't
you
want to look
have
at these PSA nines anymore.
do you not have room left on any of your shelves? Is your wife upset with all the posters on the wall and all your graded cards and her lack of
Hmm.
diamonds and iPads? Come down to Z&G Emporium
Hmm.
where you can put it all in a box and get it out of your house. Submit
Literally,
today.
I've been putting like I've been putting a lot of thought into how to do less. And yeah, I just love putting stuff in boxes now. It's great.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, like the more I do this, the more, getting in a bunch of slabs and then just immediately putting it in a box and not having any slabs is like it feels crazy good.
Hmm.
And also shout out James' wife. The fact that she's
Hmm.
okay with that much plastic in her home that's like angel tier, I think. So
Hmm.
I'd say she's probably wife of the week. We
Wife
just
of the week. You want to start it off?
to yeah, wife of the week, James's wife for dealing with all my Yu-Gi-Oh in her house. It's really an extraordinary she's
Yeah.
really an
No, it's
extraordinary human being. Yeah.
a strong marriage there. Yeah. My
Incredibly
girl, my
strong
girl,
marriage all
my
around.
girl. She tells me my girl tells me every day when am I gonna get rid of the uncut sheet. So that's where we're at.
Oh no. It's a little
He's like,
too it's a little too displayed, taking up a little too much wall space.
he's like, why is there DBC in the living room? I'm trying to figure it out.
I'm still trying to put it together, please.
What
Please tell
gives
me.
you think you got the right? No, let me talk to you.
All right, but put down your game. But hey, put that card away. We got to talk. Why is there Gokus and Krillins and Vegetas all up in the living room? We're trying to have family over.
Hey, my friends are coming over. The uncut sheet, it needs to go.
Yeah, just please get it out of out of everyone's sight for now. Thank you.
Right. Hold on, I gotta get ready for work here, Bucko.
Ready to go teach these kids.
I'm gonna reach these geeks. Nah, I've been enjoying work. It's been fun. That's a blessing right there. Anyway, what else we got, bro? Let's do it. Let's get to it. Got this little drive. Let's get it. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
pretty much it, Smith. What else is there to talk about? We got cooked, but we're still gonna win. We're sorry, but also we're gonna win. I think we're still gonna win. I don't know.
Yeah, if you submit all your cards, being double into them of what the current market is, and you still win, we're actually not sorry. But we are sorry just in general because apparently we've been telling everybody to buy bulk uh, for the past week. So, and we ourselves were also buying bulk. So we're sorry.
But is it bulk though, or is it the greatest cards ever printed? That's where I'm at.
Greatest set ever printed, the greatest cards. I mean, what set do you have? I mean, how many SARs are there even? Is it like a 1 in 2 box chance to pull an Eevee? Like, is that the best set of all time? An Altart Eevee every 2 or 3 boxes or something?
I
I
mean,
don't know.
yeah, but that's still a lot though. I mean, I don't know, bro. Who I don't know. That shit kind of blew me. I'm kind of over it, but we'll see. I have placed my bets at the casino of Pokemon,
Hmm.
and you know, return address will be bald man's house, and the rest is up to the consumer and God. Really,
Hmm.
Pokemon did their job. I did my job. It's in God's hands now.
Yep. A bald man in God's hands. Amen, brother.
I may lose audio here real quick, but bear with me. Can you still hear me?
Um,
Oh, we're
yeah.
good. All right.
Yep. Lauren is. Lauren can't be great man of the week. She can be our first great woman of the week because we don't get
Didn't
many of those. She may
did
just keep going and going and going. Just it's like one of those employee of the week walls, but it's just all the manager. It's just going to be all Lauren for great woman of the week.
didn't Thrifty win Great Man of the Week one time? Thought we gave one to Thrift one time.
Hmm.
I don't know.
For
We'll
this
see.
scenario, no, she's
Okay.
revoked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, catching up on Chatty.
I kind of want to give Thrifty an award though. I don't know. Best memes of the week, Thrifty. I mean, she do be cooking.
She been sending you some good memes.
Yeah, and then I sent them to Cass, and he told me those were boomer memes, and he saw them 8 years ago. So
Well, he's hot. He's hot about
yeah, he's troubled.
he is troubled.
How about you, Jake Smith? Are you good, bro? Baby, when are we gonna do like a mental health checkup? Like, how are you?
I don't know. I think the past 30 minutes has been a good mental checkup. I mean, I'm everyone's worried because all the raw cards are going down, but nobody's seen how the market will really even play out on these. So these could be everyone like the group of people that are buy shiny, ask later type
Hmm.
folks. Like they're going to see an Altar evolution. They're not going to know anything about the set. They're going to say, "Oh, I love Jolteon. He's running up a building. I'll pay
Yeah,
120." And it's like,
Precisely.
though your worst case scenario is you bought Jolteon at 80 and then you spent what, 40 to grade it quick or something, or 30, and you sell it for 120 and you lose 5 to 15. Like, our literally the worst case scenario of any of this playing out, of like buying way too early and then selling in that early wave, is you're losing 20%. Like, I've lost way more than that on a lot of different Pokemon plays and other plays. Like, if you're afraid to lose 20% in like grading cards and in this market in general, like maybe find something else to do. Because, I mean, that's just kind of an everyday thing. Like, people buy collections and it's all trash quality, and people lose 20% left and right every day. So,
Yep,
um,
I
and
agree.
also I think this set long term will feed us for a while. Like,
Uh-huh.
if we get through this first wave, we lose 20%, and Umbi's at $80 or something, and everything else is at 15, 20. Then you just buy a shitload and you send them to CGC and Beckett and hope for pristines and black labels. And then you're like, it's just going to
Yeah.
turn into the Unigaba play or the
Yep.
fucking
Yep.
any other cheap card play. You just go and try to get the highest grade on it, send a bunch of them, and, you know, and like, even at that price, like if Umbi goes down to $80 and it's $150 tin, like there's still margin, like you can still, make money. So I just don't think like the demand for this set's going to let up. It's just all up to how fast supply can be eaten up, which just doesn't worry me at all, because it's an EV set. Like, what EV sets have ever done bad? But I'm completely fine mentally. I do not care whatsoever how this goes. Like
Mm-hmm.
what you said, like we placed our bets at the Pokemon Casino,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna fucking get wrecked, or we're gonna do really well, or we're gonna break even, and there's nothing else to think about other than finding your next brick wall to smash your head against. You know,
I guess that's
just
I
stop
guess
thinking.
that's a good, like, since I used to play poker, like I'm used to losing it all on a bet, you know? It's like the guy bets 400. If he's not bluffing, I win 400. But if he, or excuse me, if I call and he's bluffing, I win 400. But if I call
Hmm.
and he's wrong, I lose the entire 400. I don't lose 20%. You understand how rich I'd be at poker if when I made a mistake I lost 20%? I'd be
Yeah,
a multi-gazillionaire. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's like Pokemon is, I mean, a lot less risky. But even, I mean, I think that's why when you get to the bigger numbers, Smith, is that people become more cautious because 20% of 5K, okay, yeah, you lost 1,000, like you'll survive, you'll be fine. But if you lose 20% of 100K and you lose it in a couple hours, it's like, oof, that's
yeah.
like damn near a yearly salary because I just couldn't think it through. And I think, like I said, man, I think the flippers are more like we're more flippers, I think, than businesses. Um, because when you think about the businesses, they're not risking anything. I mean, they're risking a little bit, but I mean, what's James risking? He runs a business, he charges people. You
Hmm.
know, what are you risking holding sealed product at retail that you bulked up or distro prices? You're not
Yeah.
risking shit because it's never gonna get cheaper than distro. Okay, of course there's exceptions, but you know what I'm saying? Like
Not in this set's case, I don't think.
it's just very low risk. And so like I don't know, but I think again, like going back to poker, bro, a lot of times I noticed that the people that gamble the most and the hardest and took the most risk were the people that were the most desperate.
Hmm.
Actually, a casino appeals to desperate people. And it's kind of a dark thing to realize, but like if you're worth $100 million and you lose a couple hundred, you're not even having fun because it doesn't affect you at all. Like you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you're so rich that you can't even play those stakes,
Right.
right? And so when you play with those people, they actually just care more about the conversation and the rivalry and like just having fun. But when you play with people that need the money, there's like a desperation there. And that's why people get emotional and there's fights in the casinos and shit. It's because you need the money. You got it in good. You feel like you deserve to win the money you need, and then you lose and it
Hmm.
hurts. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't know. I guess I look at the Pokemon flipping as like a less risky poker. You know, it's just money goes in, money comes
Yeah,
out a lot more often.
yeah,
Um, so yeah,
and way less risk than going to a casino and gambling on any game. Like
right,
if we all took, like if everyone here in the chat who is upset that they bought a little too early, if they took all that money and went to the casino, what are the chances that they're going to do better at one day at the casino than one day of buying stuff too early in this hobby? Like
right, exactly.
the hobby is like infinitely safer, like unreal amounts safer. Um, uh,
Likely.
Jackson's asking, why is everyone not spending 100% of their available credit on English?
Mm.
Hmm. Maybe because there's other
I
shit.
don't have I don't have any more available credit, but that sounds wonderful.
Yep. Yep. I do spend a lot of English these days, but I couldn't help jumping back into Japanese when the best set of all time was just released.
Damn, that was robot as hell. You killed that.
By Eevee. Umbreon 170. Purchase now. Um,
Bro. How how's vintage doing, dude? Is vintage still alive? Are vintage collectors okay?
not if you're a Japanese vintage collector, but if you're an English vintage collector on the high end, it looks like stuff's selling really well right now. I think,
English vintage?
yeah, like high grade English vintage seems to be doing pretty well right now. Like James posted a regular CGC 10 of base set Chari. I think it went for like 4,500 or something. And I'm sure there's a bunch of PSA 9s that are like, what, 1,000 to 1,200 or something that could easily, get cracked and put into a CGC 10 slab. So that disparity is pretty wild that someone's paying that amount. But that's just I mean, that just shows again the two different buyers. Like there's buyers that they're like, oh, that's a 10, that's hard to get. When in reality, everyone deep in the weeds knows like, oh, CGC 10 is actually, a little easier to get than a PSA 10 on like a WotC vintage. Um,
Bro, I remember one time at the Miami Collecticon, and I'll tell this story real quick, but I just never forgot. I'm like, yo, let me see your collection or whatever. And the guy's like, yeah. And he pulled out all perfect CGC perfect tens. But they were random cards. It was like a vending series Starmie perfect 10 non-hollow. It was like a WotC, I don't know, Gym 2 unlimited non-hollow. And he's like, bro, these are all like pop 1. This is pop 0. This is pop -3. And he was so excited about having, in his mind, these perfect cards.
mm-hmm,
And he was so juiced. And in my head, I'm like, it's CGC though.
mm-hmm,
Like this is all going to 0. And then like a few months later, they discontinued the perfects. Anyway, bro, the dust is so real. Like that's up there. That's up there with the stories of the dudes having complete 1 through PSA 10s of a card. Like
mm-hmm,
to collect like non-hollow perfect 10s, like it's just so arbitrary. Like what makes it perfect? And then it's not rare at all. It's not rare. It's a
mm-hmm.
common card. So yeah, anyway, it's kind
It's
of a
only
rant,
it's
but
only rare in the slab, technically. That's
yeah, and
the fickle thing about the Pokemon market is like there's those two different markets. There's the one where that Starmie you can go and buy a LP or near mint copy for $3 on eBay, or you can spend whatever he spent on it back
couple hundy.
then, probably a
Yeah.
couple hundy, yeah, or more, on the same card. So,
Well, but the point is that CGC doesn't have perfects anymore. And so you're collecting something that's extinct now, Like if black labels go away, then what? Black labels go away, then what? It's like that's it. I don't know, man. It's very
yeah,
arbitrary. That's why I understand the people who say, okay, if the card achieved a PSA 10, it's time to sell it because things could change. It's maxed out. I'm gonna get peak market value. I'm gonna get the most I can get. It the card cannot go anywhere from a PSA 10. You get me? Like there's
Hmm.
no better. I mean, I guess you can get that diamond or whatever they give you, but and I think about that, right? Because like I have a PC, and I'm like, dude, like how many Elatis could I get if I just cash out my PC raw? Like how many raw Elatis can I get? I like probably at least a couple, and then those will get tens again, and it's like LOL, like flipping, right? But I think like I'm starting to understand why people that have been here for like 2 decades, just because it's in plastic and it has a 10, they're like, all right, cool, like it's fine, like it's a widget, just
Yeah,
sell it.
they're like, oh yeah, it's just more money for me.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
like
it's still.
all those dudes that were picking stuff up for cheap, and then they see how much the raw cards got up, much less the near mint to PSA 10 or Beckett 10 premium. They're just like, oh, that's not cool because it's in a piece of plastic. It's cool because it can further my collecting goals or my business's goals or anything like that. And you just make that extra money people are willing to pay for it to be in plastic.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, cool. Yeah, so like let's say you were picking up Elatis at $300 raw, right, back in the day.
Hmm.
And now you randomly like you find a 10 in a box and it's worth 3,500. You're like, this is not a rare card. Like to you, it's like I could have been getting this. It's like you get what I'm saying? It's kind of like with
Yeah.
me and the modern Charizards. Like when I see a modern English Charizard in a 10, I
Hmm.
I only see the money. I don't get the rarity. You get what I'm saying? I don't look at that and go, wow, that's collectible. I look at that and I say, let's sell that immediately. Like let's get this
Yeah.
premium. So I think it's the same way. Like there's pillars that have like trophy cards that look at our Japanese promos and they're like, dude, this is like bulk. Like these
Hmm.
were $12 when I started collecting. Not to mention, like, bro, somebody like Dan, he already had everything. He already ripped every box. He had every card in a nine. Like you get it gets old.
Hmm.
And what you can do with that money does not get old because if you get 4K, that's a nice vacation. That's a nice flip into an EV set. Like money never gets old, but these cards will eventually get old. Like once I grade my 15th Elati, am I really gonna be like enamored?
Yeah.
Probably not. You know what I'm saying? So
And I
we're
mean, I
still young, we're still young in this shit. So
I feel like as a business, I've tripped my own self up because of that. Because I'll just get tired of a card. So it's like, let's say like the Bubble Mew, for example. I graded a bunch of those in Japanese. Still trying to grade them in English, but the Japanese ones, like it gets to a certain point where I'm flipping a card so much and I am winning and making money on it that I guess I get bored of it. And then I just
yeah.
stop buying that same, you can just call it an income stream, like a card that's an income stream. And then you're just kind of hurting yourself because you want to try and buy other stuff. But that's like maybe too much of the gambling side or like the new play creation side, trying to create excitement from the mundane. Um, that's taking over in like a toxic or negative way. When in reality, it's like we should have been buying 151 Charizards this whole time because it's always been a moneymaker. Or even Celebrations Charizard. That's like the number one I've seen where it's like I graded a few of those. I hated the card, didn't want to keep grading it. It was very boring. But in reality, everyone who just kept buying that card for 70 and selling it for 150 to 200 printed relentless. Like I don't even want to know the amount Dan or some other people have graded of that card. Like it's probably over 1,000. Like it's
Mhm.
ridiculous how much that card made people.
But I think that's what's
Just
gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen with the EVs, bro. Like get
mhm.
ready for pop 15,000 quick. Like dudes are
Yeah.
gonna be grading that shit to forever. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and in like a year or two down the road, when we've had reprints or other stuff, like I'm still waiting for it. Like it's going to happen in Japanese 151 too. Eventually, supply will dry up. LOL, supply is in the tens of thousands for PSA 10s, but eventually there's going to be a supply shock on the available market, and those are going to go up in price. Like it happens every single time with popular
Yep.
modern cars. Like it
Yep.
just one
Yeah.
little lapse of, Dan backs out on grading the Leafeon, and we stop grading the Glaceon, or whatever the card is, and there's still a certain amount of people that want it, are continuously buying it, and not enough people are grading it, and then shit just pops up again.
Okay, so I got a
Um,
question. I got a question. And this is dusty, but just walk with me, okay? If you were a pure collector, you're not a business, and you want to get a sequential set of all the EVs in a PSA 10,
mhm.
okay, it doesn't have to be sequential, but I'm just trying to make a point. At the time, would you come in and buy those graded? Would you like from set release? Obviously, you're not gonna buy the first month after the set releases if you're trying to get the best value, right? But
Mhm.
when would you buy it? Like when do you buy a graded card? Like obviously, I'm kind of asking you how to time the market, but I guess it's just like, what do you think? Like, what do you think is a good time to buy?
I mean, I don't
Like,
really
dude,
have
like,
an answer for that, but like, for example, like the Bubble Muse, it got to the point where like I could buy a Bubble Mew PSA 10 for like 70, $75.
mhm.
Um, buy 10 plus of them, ship them over, and I was selling them for like 95 to 100, like shipped on Instagram. So it's like every single buy was like a free 20, and every single time I sold out in a day.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like if
it's,
there's and the thing is like the raw card was like 50, and I was buying them for like, it was like 50 to 55, and the 10s they were dumping for 70 to 75. And it's like if I'm selling out every single day, no matter what my quantity is, and the graded
that's a money
PSA
maker.
10
That's a
is
money maker.
grading plus
Yeah,
raw, maybe like if you have a bunch of cash set aside, or you do want to try to swing trade modern cards, not, you know, that's probably not the best business model, but if you are very bullish on a card, that's probably the time to buy, is when like you just can't make money in a
yeah,
10, or
exactly,
buying it raw and grading it, but every single
exactly,
time you do have a 10, it's selling out instantly.
bro. That's 100% right. I think that's the right answer. I think it's just when it's at raw plus grading, buy it because you can't get cheaper. I
Well, it's
bought.
it's important that you're selling through it immediately though too. Like if I had a Raikou SAR from uh, V Star Universe or Crown Zenith in English, and I'm buying 10 of them, and it's raw plus grading, but it takes me like a week, maybe 2 weeks to sell through them, like I wouldn't buy that. But there's certain like instances, like maybe this Umbreon in this set will be that way,
It just
or
insta
the
sells,
Bubble
bro.
Mew in the Japanese and even English, when like I think English prices were like 150 to 200 or something, when the raw was like 70 or 80. They were selling out constantly, and the print quality wasn't that bad. And it's like if you're bullish on that card, that's probably the time to buy. So,
I bought the that Entei. What's it called? The Jungle Entei,
mhm.
like Roaring EX or Gauging EX or some shit. Iron
Gouging
EX.
fire.
That one, I
Yeah.
think. Bro, I paid $27 for the 10. I'm like,
Mhm.
raw is 15 plus 12 for the 10 shipped to my door.
Mhm.
Like he's losing money. Like whoever sold
Yeah.
me that. So $27. I like the art. I thought it was cool. Whatever. I bought it. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. I ended up selling it for like 40 or something. Hell yeah, super huge dub. Made like $4. But it's too cheap, basically, Like
Yeah. It's yeah, when things are like that, it's like it's probably a little safer to invest in modern, but also it's like I don't know. I don't like to, because that at that point you're long-term gambling with something that's the most risky in the market. So, I mean, people can claim genius status all day for buying a shitload of, you know, PSA 10 English alt arts or Japanese alt arts, and oh, they all go up, and you're a genius because they're popular cards. But at the same time, that's probably like the way worse of an investment than just buying shitloads of boxes that those, popular cards are being pulled out of. Like sealed is just always the way in modern. I think if you've got a lot of money and you're just down to sit on it, at least it's better than buying the PSA 10s of chase cards. But
Yeah,
also
for
in
sure.
booms, it's just working really weird too. Like every day, like the variance in these alt art prices are pretty wild. Like just James just made a post. Go follow ZNG on Instagram. He posts all the time. Cards that are paid for that are breaking records or have $100 swings from the previous week's auctions, and you can even tap into that and make plays off of that. Because if there's anyone that's tapped in, like I don't think there's anyone that's more tapped into like the modern market and even vintage market than someone that's selling thousands of auctions every week across the entire range of the Pokemon space. Like he's seeing and getting paid for every single sale on his page. So there's no one that's more tapped into what's, going on. And like he was even telling me he was buying, Bubble Muse and I've seen him buy the Latios and Latias because he sees in his auctions like, oh, this card is only going up. It's been 4 or 5 weeks straight. This card's only been going up, and the raw is sitting still. So it's like,
Hmm.
okay, we're gonna be buying raw based on how the tin is performing, like what the liquidity, what the cost, what the price, the profit of the tin is. Then, when the tin starts going crazy on the Bubble Mew or 151 Chari, you can basically go in and buy a whole bunch of the raw, and it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy of, oh, the raw's going up because the tin's going up, because obviously all the businesses, all the flippers see what the tin's doing, so they're going to jump in on that 3 to 4x margin that didn't used to be there. So
That's
it's
a
a
good
very
point.
simple
Yeah.
market in a way, like that.
Yeah.
Like there's only so much raw listed, only so much graded listed. If all the graded gets eaten up and the price starts going up, then guess what's going to happen to the raw? You just know.
Okay, so we got to an hour here. I wanna do something, and then we can shut it down. Let's do
Sounds
wild
good.
speculation. Okay, let's do
Okay.
wild speculation here. By the way, thank you everybody for being here. You already know, love, hit that like, hit that sub, and join the Discord. But wild speculation, Jake Smith, what do you think the first Umbreon Pristine CGC will go for? What do you think the first Black Label will go for? And what do you think the first PSA 10 will go for?
Hmm. Like the first one's being auctioned on eBay.
The first one that's not shilt, basically.
Okay. Um, this may be a little bearish, but I think the PSA 10 will do like 350. I think the pristine 10 will do 400 to 450, and the black label's up to God, dude. It could be anywhere between 1,500 and 5 bands.
Okay, so
Because I mean,
you're gonna
in that like 5 band guess is basically just like Beckett's basically down 50% graded volume this year, year over year. So I think there's gonna be a lot less supply of black labels because no one's really grading with them. Like if everyone full sent to Beckett, obviously the black label price would be really low. But I think there's still enough people that like the black label and will pay very high for the first, Moonbryon 2.0 in it.
yeah, Beckett's just
But
taking
what
too long, bro.
what do you think?
No, I think the CGC will probably do well. I think that with the pristine, black label pristine, I think that'll look fire. I'm thinking 600, 500, 600 for sure. Um, I mean, especially at auction, dude, like I feel like that's gonna do well.
Mm-hmm.
The people that send at the 40 and at the 75 with PSA, I could see them getting around 500, 600 also,
Yeah.
Um, so it might, if you have a 10, a guaranteed 10, or if you have a weak card that you think could 10 too, you could probably just send it at the 40 and get it back in 2 weeks and probably still get 500. I would imagine.
Yeah.
Um, and just send it to James and 500, what is it, 93%? Or is it,
Uh,
or
you get 88%. if it's under
88% of 500.
if
Okay.
it's above 100 and below 1,000.
Yeah, he
Has to
needs
be
to run a
1,000 to get
he,
92%
he
or
needs to run a
93.
Moonbreon special, dude. All
Mm-hmm.
Umbreon's 93%. He'll bring. But anyway,
True.
um, I think Black Label will probably do 4K easily. I mean, that's
Yeah.
gonna look insane in a Black Label, especially. I mean, maybe more, dude. Maybe. I mean, dude, these prices are so insane to me, bro. Like, I'm seeing prices that are so silly recently that it's like nothing
Yeah.
surprises me. But um, I do like the card, bro. I think it's a cool card. I think there'll definitely be demand, and just trying to get my little piece of the old pie. It's just I'm
Yeah,
a
I
little
think
bit,
it's definitely the card I'm the least worried about in the set for sure. Like the
yeah.
fact it's held up as well as it has, being, you know, a $200 card for the rarity it has, like it's pretty, like people shouldn't be freaking out. They should be like, holy shit, that's amazing that
Hmm.
this set is being ripped as much as it is. There's this many Moonbreons available and it's still holding at that like 180 to 200 mark. Like that's some wild shit for the amount of sales and amount available. So
Absolutely. All right, cool. Well, that's the pot. Jake Smithers,
hell
thanks for
yeah.
joining me, Big Dirt. Sorry guys that I was off camera a bunch. I was just like on my way to work, but hopefully you
Yep.
guys
So had to
enjoyed it.
get it.
We got a guerrilla episode on the road here. Yeah, join the Discord, hit the like. We'll see. We'll probably be live in a couple days, bro. We're trying to go live and really do the play by play on this L that we're gonna take. So,
Yep. Yep. We'll
all right,
show all
thanks
the
again.
Excel spreadsheets with all the crying emojis after the play is done. And hopefully we'll still have a potty.
Hell yeah, brother. All right, everybody, have a
All
great
right.
day. Smith, shut her down.
Peace, y'all.